You stay. Even when something hurts, you do not move away. You notice the discomfort and you remain where you are. You adjust yourself just enough to keep going. You tell yourself it is manageable. You tell yourself you can hold it. When a moment turns heavy, you slow down instead of stepping back. You stay present. You stay involved. You keep your place. The feeling is there. You feel it clearly. You do not act on it. You decide to endure it quietly. You move through situations with this readiness. When something feels wrong, you do not leave. You do not pull out. You stay and watch yourself from the inside. You monitor what you can tolerate. You shift your weight. You remain. There is a steady pressure in this, not sharp, not sudden, a dull ache that you learn to live alongside. You notice it in your body, a tightness, a fatigue, a sense of holding yourself together. You keep going anyway. In conversations, you stay even when words sting. You listen past the point of comfort. You let comments pass through you. You choose not to react. You choose to stay calm. You tell yourself it is better to remain than to disrupt the moment. You become familiar with staying longer than you want to. You know how to sit with discomfort. You know how to make space for it inside you. You know how to keep your face steady while something inside you tightens. You notice how this shapes your sense of loyalty. You remain committed to situations that strain you. You tell yourself that leaving would be too much, too sudden, too final. Staying feels safer than changing your position. There is a quiet strength in how you do this. You do not dramatize it. You do not announce it. You simply remain. You let the moment continue while you absorb what hurts. You tell yourself this is what it means to be steady. This is how you enter experiences. You stay. You endure. You keep your place even when it costs you something. You move forward without moving away. You remain where you are even when staying hurts. You stay even as the discomfort repeats. It does not surprise you anymore. You feel the strain and you remain where you are. You adjust your posture. You slow your breath. You tell yourself you can handle this part too. This happens across moments, in conversations that press on a sore place, in situations that feel heavy but familiar. You notice the hurt and you do not leave. You stay attentive. You stay involved. You keep your place. You learn how to stay without making it obvious. You soften your reactions. You keep your voice steady. You nod. You listen. You let the moment continue. Inside, something tightens. You register it. You keep going. You begin to recognize the rhythm. Something stings. You pause. You remain. You tell yourself it will pass. You tell yourself it is not worth disrupting what is already happening. You choose endurance over movement. You do this with people you care about. You do it with situations you have invested in. You do it when leaving would feel like too much, too final, too loud. Staying feels quieter. Staying feels safer. You notice how often you explain the discomfort to yourself. You minimize it. You frame it as temporary. You remind yourself of reasons to remain. You focus on what would be lost if you stepped away. You keep those reasons close. Your body learns this pattern too. You hold tension in familiar places. Your shoulders stay engaged. Your jaw stays firm. You remain alert. You keep yourself ready to absorb what comes next. You become known for staying calm, for being steady, for not walking away when things get difficult. This fits how you move. It matches the way you keep your position even when it costs you something. Over time, staying becomes the default. You do not check if you want to leave. You check how much more you can take. You measure your capacity. You stretch it. You remain. You notice that the world does not always register this choice. Moments pass, conversations end, others move on. You stay with what you endured. You carry it forward quietly. This pattern repeats without announcement. Hurt appears. You stay. You adjust. You endure. It feels orderly. It feels controlled. It feels like the responsible thing to do. You settle into this way of being. You do not question it. You know how to stay. You know how to hold your place when something hurts. You continue on like this, present, composed, still there. You stay even when the hurt does not fade. You notice it settle in and you adjust around it. You do not pull away. You do not step back. You remain where you are and you make space for the discomfort to exist beside you. This staying takes effort. It asks your body to hold tension without release. Your muscles stay engaged. Your breath stays shallow. You keep yourself steady so nothing shows. You learn how to sit with the ache without letting it reach the surface. You tell yourself that leaving would make things worse. You tell yourself that staying keeps things intact. You repeat this quietly. You use it to justify remaining, even when your body signals strain. You listen to the reasons more than the feeling. The hurt becomes familiar. It stops feeling urgent. It becomes something you live with rather than something you respond to. You learn its shape. You learn its timing. You know when it will flare and when it will settle. You plan around it. You notice how much you tolerate. Words that land too sharply. Situations that drain you. Moments that ask more than you have to give. You do not challenge them. You endure them. You stay present, and you let the discomfort pass through you without changing your position. There is a quiet pride in this. You know you can handle more than others see. You know you can remain when things are difficult. You take this as proof of strength. You take it as proof that you can be relied on. You do not maim the cost. The cost shows up anyway. You feel tired in a way that rest does not fix. You feel heavy without knowing why. You move carefully, aware of how close you are to your limit. You do not share this. You manage it alone. Sometimes you notice a moment when you could leave. The thought appears briefly. You imagine stepping away. You imagine relief. Then you dismiss it. You remind yourself of what would be lost. You remind yourself of what you have already invested. You stay. You become skilled at enduring quietly. You know how to keep your expression neutral. You know how to keep your voice even. You know how to make it seem like everything is fine. This keeps the outside calm. It keeps questions from being asked. Inside, the hurt continues. It does not resolve. It does not escalate either. It stays at a steady level that you learn to carry. You make room for it alongside everything else. It becomes part of your daily experience. You do not experience this as a choice anymore. It feels like the way things are done. When something hurts, you stay. When it hurts again, you stay again. You do not wait for it to change. You wait for yourself to adapt. You remain in this position, present, enduring, absorbing what hurts without moving away from it. You let the tension stay unresolved. You continue on like this, still there, still holding your place. You are still here. You are still staying, even when it hurts, even when it wears you down in small ways. You remain where you are and you make yourself fit around the discomfort. This has become familiar. It feels like the normal way you move through strain. You do not expect relief to arrive quickly. You do not expect the moment to change for you. You expect yourself to adapt. You expect yourself to endure. You can see how this once made sense. Staying reduced disruption. Staying kept things stable. Staying kept you connected. It allowed you to remain present without making the hurt visible. It gave you a way to keep going when leaving felt like too much. You do not need to call this good. You do not need to call it bad. You are simply noticing how steady it is in you, how quickly you return to it, how naturally you hold your place. You continue to stay in conversations that tighten your chest. You continue to stay in situations that drain you. You keep your voice even. You keep your face steady. You keep your body from reacting. You let the moment pass while you absorb what it costs. Sometimes you feel the distance this creates inside you. You are present outwardly. You are braced inwardly. You remain polite. You remain calm. You remain. The hurt is still there. It does not need to be named to be real. There is no resolution here. There is no turning point. This is not the moment where you stop staying. This is only the moment where you see it clearly. The way you remain even when something inside you pulls away. You let that be true. You let it stand without explanation. You do not rush to soften it. You do not rush to make it meaningful. You simply recognize the shape of it. You stay. You have stayed. You may stay again. And for now, that is all that is being said.